All right, here we are for week four. Week four was interesting. Um, we got some differing responses there. I tried to give everybody quite a bit of feedback. If you didn't get any feedback from me, then it looked decent to me. Um, so I'm going to be referencing the paragraph model. Um, it's the same model that I was referencing inside of the assignment where I said here's a thesis model, topic, argument, and reason, and the paragraph model where I said here's the topic, here's the point, here's the evidence and explanation. All those things come from this paragraph model. This paragraph model is in our class in Pages. Then you go to paragraph model, and it'll open up this document right here. If you want to do a good job at your theses, then you want to go take a look at this. Topic, argument, and reason. That's what theses are made up, and here's the paragraph model. Topic, point, evidence, explanation, and transition. Those are the models. I haven't given you an example because every time I give an example, students end up trying to copy my example, and I don't want you to do that. I want you to do it to apply the model. All right. So when we're looking today, I'm going to be thinking about this, and this is exactly what I had written up in your assignment, and it'll be in all the assignments going forward. So take a look at that thing. All right. So today when we look at this stuff, I'm going to be referencing this. So like right here, I'm going to the first one, looking at this one, and as y'all are used to seeing, I'm going to go through here, look at the MLA, margins look good, page number, we have the heading, we have a title, so we can get right down into it. So we're going to look at this. The first thing I would say, and I think I said this to the person who turned this in, is we have too big of an indent here. We only need one indent, and that indent should be half an inch. It looks like hers is setting up to something different. So, but anyway, whatever yours is set at, it needs to be half an inch. So you need to make sure those indents are at half an inch, nothing more. That's what MLA wants. All right. Beyond that, take a look at this first paragraph. And what we're going to notice is this use of I in the first paragraph. In your assignment, pretty much every assignment I've given you, I've said don't use I. So when I say don't use I mean something a whole lot like don't use I. In fact, as a general principle for academic writing, it's much safer for you not to use I or you in any academic writing until you are asked to do so. So for assignments for me especially, don't put in I or you. I don't want to see that stuff. Mostly because it makes you make strange writing choices, and I find that once you start down the path of writing the I or the you voice, that y'all tend to write strangely. So I don't want you to use that. So no I or you. That would be the first thing I would tell this person, is no I or you. The next thing we're going to look for in this introduction is we want to see an introduction, and the end of that introduction we expect to see a thesis. Every instructor is pretty much going to look for the thesis down here. Yes, as a point of detail, you could put it anywhere in that first paragraph. But most people are going to look at it as the last sentence of the first paragraph, the place where the paragraph culminates and give you its final idea before we move into the essay itself. All right, so here's what I'm going to be looking for. And the problem I see here is there's not really a well-articulated thesis, and there's really not a well-articulated thesis anywhere in the paragraph. And so remember, a good introduction is going to have a topic, an argument, and a reason. This person, right off the bat, they got on the I, and the I really messed them up. Remember that point where I said it makes you make strange writing choices, and that's what it is. She got into the I voice and never really got away from it. Never got to the point where she tried to make a point. Now you recognize, I mean, if we go look, she recognizes the I voice is not, the right place to be right away. She has it in every one of the first three sentences. You go to the first paragraph, the I business stops because she recognizes it's not useful. She picks it up down here again, but it's not useful. So because of the I, she never got around to making an argument, and therefore this isn't doing what it needs to do. All right, a couple of other things before we move on to another one. She's got what's funny here, I've noticed that a lot of y'all are doing it correctly, like down here somewhere, but then when we go back up and actually try to use it, y'all are doing something different. So they should look the same. Here, I don't even see this one represented down there, so that seems a misstep. But here we have it italicized. No, that's not the way we do that. Italics are for books. Things that go inside books get quotation marks. So this should be in quotation marks, not italics. She is trying to set up the quote, and that's good, but we're given a lot of information before she tries to set it up. I would say back off that a little bit and just introduce the quote. Make sure you're putting a comma before you introduce the quote. Then after you do the quote, you do have to have a citation. One of the strange MLA features is the period is taken off the back of the sentence and is put at the very back end so that we know that the citation goes with it. But we need some kind of alerting that that's the end of the sentence and it all goes together. And I don't know what this one was, so I'm just going to say it's page 123. There's how that ought to look. So that we have a quote, we have a citation. Without this, you are in the field of plagiarism. Whether you have the best intents or not, there will be people who will make the case that you are plagiarizing without a citation. Without direct or correct attribution, you're going to be in a very hazy area. Don't do it. Make sure you have those citations in there. All right, that's all I want to say about this one, so I can get on to the next one. All right. Let's take a look at this one. We have page numbers, we have margins, good, we have a title, so we can get into this first paragraph. Take a look at this first paragraph. Remember, we're going to be looking for a thesis, and the thesis should have a clear topic and a clear argument and a clear reason. It's clear to me that the topic that this person wants to talk about is the commoners. The whole paragraph's about the commoners, and that's the topic, and that's clear to me. The argument is less clear, but I think if we're looking at it, this right here is the sentence she wants to be the thesis, and it's in the right place, so I'm going to assume that's what she does want to be the thesis. So commoners, and I think her argument is, and most good arguments are predicated on a verb, so never let go of their beliefs in God and themselves. Okay, I can live with that as a thesis. So there's a topic, here's the argument. Now the problem is that she doesn't really have any place to go at the end of this thesis, and that's why I'm always going to suggest at the end of it that you end with a reason, because, and now she has something she could add to it, and it will give this paper direction instead of just her having to beat the drum of commoners never letting go of their beliefs in God and themselves. Well, now if we add a because, we can say why that is. So the commoners never let go of their beliefs in God and themselves because they thought that they had individual, let's say this, individual value in the individual, hey, I forgot value. Individual, I'll fix individual in a second. Value in the eyes of God, or in the eyes of their creator. We'll say that. Now she has something that she can keep saying again and again to go along with that, and she has some purpose to this. It's because she's going to talk about these guys are starting to see their own intrinsic value, and that's useful. But without this, without the reason, this thing falls a little flat. And I would suggest that each one of these paragraphs would be a whole lot better if it had that reason. All right, well, let's look at this first paragraph without the reason and see what she has here. Remember, what we're looking for in each one of these paragraphs is these paragraphs should be proving the thesis. What she should be proving is that they never let go of their beliefs in God themselves. Okay, so first paragraph, topic sentence. Common people of the time held many different occupations, including husband, iron, metal workers, woodworkers, and cloth makers. All right, if this is the thesis, and I think it is, that doesn't seem to be proving this. Now then, this does seem to have maybe something to do with this, but that doesn't seem to be what she wanted her thesis to be. So this seems to be counterproductive or aimed at something else. So ultimately what I'd say is this introduction and its thesis doesn't do its job of introducing this as a paragraph of this essay. And that's why this paragraph is not good, because it's not proving the thesis. If this is supposed to be the thesis, we need to put that there in a different place. But as it is right now, this introduction is not clear where it's all headed, and therefore this paragraph, it's hard to say if it's in the service of proving the thesis. All right, some other things in here. Yes, she's got the right title in there. Good. John of Salisbury. Good. That's all good. She's got the period in the wrong place. We're going to take that period out. I'm just going to put that at the end. Small thing, but there are some colleagues of mine for who that would be a big old deal. And we take out this word pages. That's not supposed to be in there. We don't need a comma. So it should just be the last name and the pages. Because we've been using John of Salisbury like this, it appears that way. Probably down the works cited. We'll go look in a second, but it should look like that up there too. All right, let's go take a look at this works cited. John of Salisbury, yeah, because that's the way we've been using it. We need to put that together like this because that's an honorific. Like Bernard Guy, yeah, that's a first name and last name. But when we have this of business in somebody's name, we're going to do it like this. This is the safest method that I figured out for us to do. So do that. But other than that, it looks to be on the right track. All right, good. Okay, so there's that one. Again, the weakness of this one is this introductory paragraph doesn't set up this paragraph very well, and therefore it's not doing its business. All right, let's go look at another one. Last one. All right, so here we have one. Right from the get-go, we see we have some issues. MLA-wise, we don't have a page number. We want to make sure we have that page number. So make sure you're inserting your page numbers. You'll also notice that here we have some larger margins. It should just be 1-inch margins all the way around. Why am I making such a big deal about the margins? Because if they're not right, when I go to change it, it's going to change the length of the essay. If you had a short essay, it's going to make it shorter. This one has problems of its own. The works cited needs to be on a page all by itself. But this essay was longer, but once I changed the margins, it shortened it even more, and that's a problem. Her name, yep. My name, yep. Class, yep. But this date needs to be written out. 10th February 2015. So write that out. All right, has a title, so let's move on to the actual paragraph here. The first paragraph, this introduction. See if we can find a thesis in here. So we're looking for the commoners and what their issues are. Problems. Okay. Here's definitely a sentence about problems. So certain problems the common people endured include, and here's the problem, and this is exactly the type of thesis the They Say, I Say, Chapter 3 was worried about. Is where you just end up making a list. Instead of really making a good thesis, you just make a list. And so I want y'all to be more careful about that. Problems include begging and pleading to have one's goods returned, drilled by questions of occupational status, and last of the Black Death. This is just a laundry list of things to talk about. There's no overarching problem. So I would take one of these and make them the big one. So like if you're really looking at this, begging and pleading to have one's goods returned, drilled by questions, last of the Black Death, I might say that the people were kind of arguing against the overarching authority in their lives. They don't believe that the king has their best interest at heart. So that might be the problem. This, I think, is the reason. Remember we talked about a minute ago, we wanted to reason on that other one. I think that's the reason, but it's hooked up as a whole different sentence here. So it's not doing it. So I would say some amalgamation, if these two things were put together, this actually could be a thesis. It needs to be cut down and revised, but it could be the thesis. Now then, this one is doing better at trying to hook up. This definitely the poor beg to have their goods returned. Definitely trying to hook up to the thesis. But the fact that it's just she had this as part of her list, and now she's just talking about her list. There's no really clear argument. It's just, that's the thing I said I was going to talk about. Here's the thing. There it is. Go away. Yeah, that we can do that better. All right. Next, here we are. We have this introduction of a quote. We have the quote. We can do this better based on what we said a minute ago. I'm fixing to run out of time, so I'm not going to go again and do that. But make sure you're doing that better. But the problem with this is she ends with this quote. This quote is the last thing we have, and she never bothers to explain it. So we don't know what she means by it. We don't know why she thinks that proves the point that she was trying to make. And I would say do that better. Make sure that you're explaining the quote. I don't know what the quote means until you tell me what it means. You're the one that took it out of the essay. You're the one that took it out of the reading and put it in your essay. It's now incumbent upon you to tell me what it is. So make sure that you're doing that. All right. Hopefully this helped going over some of these. Thank you. and I look forward to seeing what you turn in with this next one. Okay, bye.